Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today we're going to be making the Tidal Wave Bracelet with Rainbow Loom. Let's get started. To make this bracelet, you are going to need a hook. Today I'm going to be using the metal tipped hook from Rainbow Loom. And then next you're going to need a loom. So today we're only going to be using 2 rows. And you want to make sure that the red arrow on your loom is pointing towards you. This way it'll be easier to place our bands. And next you're going to need a C-clip or an S-clip to finish off your bracelet. And you're going to need your bands. So in total, you're going to need approximately 84 bands, 25 of which are the border bands. And today, this glow-in-the-dark white is what I'll be using for my border. And then you're going to need 46 of the colored bands. So I'm using 3 colors today. This blue, teal, and yellow. And you're also going to need 7 to 12 extension bands. So I'm going to be using the same color today. It's this glow-in-the-dark white, and we're going to be making a single chain extension. Then you're also going to need a cap band. So the cap band, the band I'm using for that will be this glow-in-the-dark white. So let's get started. So before we place any bands, just remember to make sure that your red arrow here is pointing towards you. If it is, you can start placing a band. What you're going to do is you're going to grab one of your border bands, so it would be my white, and you're just going to place it on these 2 pegs right here, like that. Take one more, and you're going to place it on these 2 pegs. So we're creating a zigzag pattern all the way down our loom. So taking a band and placing it this way, taking another band, placing it this way, and make sure to push down on all our bands each time you place a new one because we're going to be adding a lot of more bands onto our loom, and it starts to get crowded after a while, which makes it hard to do the hooking process later on. So I'm going to do the rest of this off camera because it's really simple. You're just taking a single band and just placing it diagonally on the peg. So you're just going to place your last band here, like that. Now that you've done that, we can start placing our next set of bands, which will be the wave. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 of my first color bands. So we're going to be double banding for this bracelet, and what we're going to do is we're going to place it on these 2 pegs. And once you've done that, we're going to take it and we're going to twist it and push it onto these 2 pegs. So like that. And it should look something like that once you've twisted it. Now you're going to take 2 of your next color and you're going to place it on these 2 pegs because you started it on these 2, so now you need to move on to these 2. So you're just going to double band and place it like this here, and then you're going to twist onto these 2 pegs. So around like that. Push down, take 2 of your next color, which is going to be yellow, and you started on these 2 for this previous band, so now you're going to go on to these 2. So it'll be, place it down here, twist it around, and back again. Careful because sometimes the bands get caught, so that just happened to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place it again. So we're starting on these 2 pegs and grabbing it, twisting it like that onto these 2. Great. Now push down. And you're going to take your next color. So it's going to be my blue again, and taking 2 of those. And since we started on these 2, we have to now move on to these 2. So starting on these 2, twisting around and placing like that. Taking the next color, which will be my teal, taking 2 of those. We started on these 2, so now we're going to move on to these 2. So I'm going to place it over here, and it's going to go around like that. Taking my next color and placing it here and onto these 2. Taking my next color, placing it here and onto these 2. My next color from here to here, twisting it here, like so. So basically, whichever peg you start laying on, you're going to go for that second peg when you started for that previous band, and your next band will start on that second peg you started on, and you're going to twist it, connecting to the other peg diagonal on the other side of that. So I'll do it a couple more times just so you get the idea. So right here, our band started from here to here, and I'm going to grab my next color, this yellow, and it's going to go, since we started here, we're going to start it here. So that's on the peg, twisting it, and you're going to place it like that. Push down. It might be easier to push down on the bands with your hook. So taking my next color to blue, and not just placing it here, we're going to just place it on these 2. Twist and bring around. Awesome. Moving on to our next color. And I'm just going to do this one last time, and I'll do the rest off camera. So twisting here and pushing it back. So I'm going to do the rest of this off camera, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've placed down all of these bands on my loom, and I'm just going to go ahead and push down on all the bands really quick. Okay, so once I've pushed down all my bands, I'm going to go down to this last peg right here, and I'm going to take one of my border bands, so my white, and I'm going to place a cap band. So to place a cap band, you just twist it. So you place the band on the peg, you twist it, and you push it back on. So I'll do that one more time in case it wasn't too clear. So once again, you're going to place it on this last peg right here, and you're going to just put the band on the peg, twist it to make a figure 8, and you're going to place it back onto the peg. And in case that's too complicated for you, what you're going to do is just take this band and you're going to twist it onto your finger like that, and you create like a double cap band. So once again, you have this regular band, and you're going to twist it, and you're going to place it on this last peg, like that. So now we can start the hooking process. So the first step in the hooking process is to hook all the border bands underneath, all the way to the top of our loom. And what you're going to do is just go inside the cap band right here, and you're gonna grab the bottom band. So go inside of all these bands and grab that bottom band and pull it over like so. Oops, so the band came off. I'll do it one more time. So you're going inside the cap band and grabbing the bottom band. So going inside with your hook and grabbing that bottom white band. Oh, my bands are getting twisted, so that's okay. I'm just going to pull at it and there. So going inside the cap band, and you're going to grab the bottom band. It should be the white one, which takes you forward. So you might want to push out the green band so it's easier for you to grab the white band at the bottom. Once you grab it, you take it off that peg and you loop it diagonally here. Now you go inside this peg and you grab that bottom white band and you're going to take that off the peg and you're going to loop that forward to this peg. Okay, so there might be a little tension on the bands, but that's okay. You're going to go inside, grab the bottom band, and since there are a lot of bands, it might be hard to grab it. So just loop it forward the best you can. No need to pull on it because when you pull on it, that's how it breaks. So whatever is coming out of like the peg, just loop that forward. And you're just going to continue looping it forward. You're just going to continue looping that bottom band forward the entire time. So it's this really simple process where you just grab that bottommost band, and it's always going to be the border band you placed in the beginning. And you're just going to stretch that forward. So I'm going to do the rest of this off camera, and I'll be right back. Okay, so after you have looped all your single chain, we're not going to be looping anything else because all we need to do to make this bracelet is just loop the single chain. And once we've done this, what we're going to do is we're going to go inside this topmost peg and we're going to take another one of our border bands, so this white, and you're going to just place it on your hook like that, pull your hook through and catch up with that band. And this, you're going to take your clip, so my C clip, and the band that's on the hook, we're now going to transfer it to our finger. Place the hook aside, take your clip and place it onto that band. And now we're going to take our hook and we're going to just take all the bands on our loom off. And it might look really weird when you first take it off because you still kind of have to stretch it out. And also careful how much you stretch the bands because it is really fragile and there's a lot of tension on it, which means that any band could easily break. So try to be as gentle as possible and remove all bands at once. This way you don't have any leftover bands on the pegs which are getting stretched and eventually they break. So you can see the kind of tidal design starting to form. And as you can see by the thumbnail of the video, that once you stretch this bracelet, the design does start to appear. Even now, you can see how it's being looped together. And I'm just going to take the rest of this off really quick, off camera, and I'll show you what to do after that. So this is what the bracelet looks like when you take it off the loom. What you're going to do is just stretch it so that the design starts to form, and you can see that there's the tidal wave. And this is actually long enough to fit my wrist, so I don't need an extension. I might just add 1 or 2 bands just in case. So if you feel like you need like an extension, what you're going to do is you're going to take those bands that you clipped off of that C-clip and instead just transfer it onto your fingers. So it'll be like this. Okay, so you have it like that, and you're going to take your loom back, and this is only if you really need the extension. Some of you might, some of you might not. So just going to place those 2 bands that you separated onto your fingers onto the loom. And you're going to take a couple more of your border bands for your extension. I'm only going to be using 2 because that's how much I need. And what I'm going to do is, it's just like a single chain. You're going to place it here on the peg, and you're going to grab the bottom band, pull over, bottom band, and pull over. Push down, bottom band, pull over, and bottom band, pull over. So once you feel like the extension is long enough, you're just going to take one side of the band and move it to the other peg, like so. And you're going to take those 2 bands onto your hook and off the peg. Put your loom away. And since it's on your hook now, you're going to now take it off the hook and transfer it to your fingers. Take your clip, place it in between, and follow through to the other end of the bracelet where we placed the cap band earlier, and there. So this is the bracelet. And this is what the bracelet looks like on your wrist. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and turn on post notifications so you never miss a new video. See you next time. Bye!